Hello friends, in this particular video we will be talking about accounts practice questions for SEBI phase 2. Right, so some of the important questions have been picked up by us in order to help you guys. The syllabus for accounting is as follows, you can check it. Then coming up with the concept questions. Question number 1 says that Lee opened his new business on 1st January 2020. On that date, the only asset was a bank balance of rupees 10,000. During the year, his drawings from the business totaled 35,000, and at the year end, that is on December 2020, the assets and liabilities of the business are as follows, right? The question's requirement is to find out the profit. We know that profit is the balancing figure that we can get, right? But from the available information, we know that there is an opening balance sheet some kind of an opening balance sheet information, and there is also closing balance sheet kind of an information. We also know that total assets are always equal to total liabilities, right? So if at the opening date we are given that the only asset was a bank balance of 10,000, so we know that on the opening date, since the opening total assets stands at 10,000, the opening total liabilities plus capital should also stand at 10,000. We are not given anything about liabilities, so all of us will be assuming that the entire 10,000 is the capital that the owner must have bought in the business, right? So our opening capital is to be taken as 10,000. Moving forward, it says that during the year he has made drawings totaled 35,000. Okay, so we will be taking this drawings a little later. Let's concentrate right now on the closing assets and liabilities. We also know that balance sheet must match at the closing as well. So our assets should be equal to liabilities plus capital at the year end as well. If we read the items which are available at the year end, we'll be segregating them one by one into assets and liabilities, right? So we know that computers and furniture is an asset, so we'll be following under the category of assets. Then inventory of raw material again is an asset, 16,500. Inventory of finished goods is at cost, and our inventory is normally valued at cost unless and until the NRV is lesser than the cost. So therefore we'll be taking up at 7,400 only. Bank overdraft is a liability, so we'll be coming under liabilities plus capital. Bank OD is a liability, so 11,600. Similarly, trade payables again is a liability. 5,500 prepayments is an asset because we have paid these in advance, so they serve as a current asset. Trade receivables again is an asset, but provision is also given, so the net trade receivables will be gross trade receivables minus provision. So 4,500 minus 2,000 would be 2,500. Bank loan liability of 39,000. Interest payable again liability of 500, and accrued expenses again liability. Why? Because these expenses are outstanding expenses. If we total this asset side, the left hand side, if we total it up, it is coming as 87,900. But the total of the liabilities and capital is coming as 59,200. So the balancing figure is what? We know that capital is missing here, so the balancing figure is logically presumed to be capital. The total should be 87,900 only because the balance sheet always matches if it is correct. So the balancing figure of capital, if you calculate, will be 28,700. Now what we are given is the opening capital of 10,000. We are also given the closing capital of 28,700. We know that the drawings made during the year deducts the amount of capital. So because of these drawings, whatever is the capital of the opening plus the current year's profits, from which we have deducted 35,000 because we have withdrawn it for our personal purposes. So the balancing figure is what? So if we deduct 35 from 10, we get minus 25,000. But then my closing capital is 28,700. What is the balancing figure? Balancing figure is the profit which has been made by this particular organization during the year. So this particular balancing figure as profits would be 53,700. You can check your calculations. The answer would be 53,700. Here the correct answer would be D, right? Next, the selling price of inventory of company M on 28th February is 72,000. So we are given that the closing inventory of February month is standing at 72,000 and the company marks up its goods by 44%. Guys, do we record inventory as at our selling price? The answer is no, because normally the selling price is greater than cost and our inventory is to be valued at cost price or NRV, whichever is lower, as per the concept of conservatism, which does not allow us to overvalue our inventory, right? We know that company marks up its goods by 44%. What do you mean by markup? Markup is a percentage of profits on cost price, whereas margin is a percentage of profits on selling price. We also know that cost price plus profit is equals to selling price. So we are not unaware of cost price. Let's assume it's CP. Profit we know is 0.44% of CP. So that is why I am writing 0.44 of CP, and we know that it is equal to selling price, which is given in the question as 72,000. So if we solve this equation, we will be getting 1.44 of CP would be 72,000, which means that CP would be equal to 50,000. 50,000 is the cost that we are getting. Now it is also given that 1/4 of the inventory, 1/4 is 1/4. 1/4 of the inventory has been damaged and will be sold for 9,800. What is the CP for 1/4? If the total cost is 50,000, 1/4 cost would be 50,000 divided by 4, which will be 12,500. We know that there is 1/4, a part of the inventory, which is 1/4 of the total inventory. It is having a cost price of 12,500, but the NRV is 9,800. So for this part of the inventory, since NRV is lesser than the cost, right, we will be valuing our inventory at 9,800 and will not be valuing our inventory at 12,500, because of which the closing inventory valuation would be 50,000, but in this 50,000 we have already included 12,500, which would be reduced, and in place of 12,500 we would be adding 9,800. In doing so, you should be getting 47,300 as the right answer. The answer is again D for this particular question as well. Question number 3 says, in the relation to the payment of an ordinary dividend on the first date, it is ordinary dividend, right? First date of the new accounting year paid by the company to its shareholders, which of the following statements is true? Option number A says the maximum dividend of the current year cannot exceed the retained profits at the end of the previous accounting year. So this is wrong. Why? Because a dividend, the maximum dividend that can be announced is the total of the retained profits that we are having accumulated till now, plus the positive profits that we have earned during this particular current year as well. So this is missing this particular figure of profits. B says the dividend cannot be higher than the previous percentage of dividends paid by the company. So this is completely wrong. It depends on the profits. It depends on the future projections. It depends on how the directors want to perceive it, right? Whether they want to retain the profits or they want to distribute the profits, on the investment prospects of the company, and so on. The dividend must be approved by the shareholders at an extraordinary general meeting. The answer is no, which is also incorrect, because payment of dividends is an ordinary activities which is passed through ordinary resolution in the general meeting. So extraordinary general meeting is the wrong statement here. The dividend is affected by past dividend policy. Yes, it's true, but it has also attached the word only, because of which the answer is incorrect, right? Dividend can be affected by the past dividend policies, but there can be a lot of other factors which affect the dividends to be paid in any year. And the last option says the maximum dividend of the current year cannot exceed the retained profits at the end of the previous accounting year and the current year profits, which is very, very correct. So the answer would be E in such case, right? Next, this is also important. at the opening dates, the opening bank OD and the capital structure of the organization. Equity components are given to us, right? So what is the opening things which are given to us? If we look at the opening things, we are given shares which are 6 lakhs in number. Share capital stands at 60,000 because the face value is 10 pence per share, right? Share premium stands at 40, revaluation reserve stands at 58, and our retained profits is standing at 86,000. What have we done? We have made a bonus issue for a 7 for 4. 7 for 4 bonus issue means for every 4 shares currently held by shareholders, they are getting 7 bonus shares. So since the current amount of total shares are 6 lakhs, for every 4 they will be getting 7 additional bonus shares. That means 10 lakh and 50,000 bonus shares would be distributed, and every bonus share is having a face value of 10 pence. Therefore 1 lakh 5,000 would be added in the share capital. This worth of share capital is given as bonus to the shareholders. But will they be getting will the company be getting cash, or bonus shares is free, is distributed for free? So bonus shares are given for free. Company would not get the cash, so it will not affect its bank or cash balance. So it will remain at 25,000, but 1,05,000 would be included in the share capital. From where? We know that bonus is paid from free reserves and securities premium. Firstly, the first preference is always given to the capital reserves which can be used up. The directors also wish to avoid capitalizing profits if they can manage it. So here as well, they can manage to use securities premium, but the maximum security premium is available as 40 only. So we'll be deducting 40, not more than that, because it is not available. Out of 1,05,000, we have used 40 from securities premium. The rest of 65,000 would be taken only from retained profits, because we know that revaluation reserve cannot be used for bonus payments. So guys, these concepts are very, very important. Whatever is the inherent utilization of the concepts for like that we are using in the questions. For example, in the previous question, we used up conservatism concept, right? So these concepts are very, very important. You need to understand these concepts, and you need to apply these concepts in a logical sense. So if you add it up, you will be getting 1,65,000 of share capital, 0 of securities premium, 58 of revaluation reserve, 86 minus 65, which is 21,000 of retained profits, and bank OD would stand at minus the 25 only. So minus 25 is these three options. Out of these three, we need to pick up 165, which is available in these two. So we will be ignoring B now. Securities premium should be 0. In both there it is 0. But this revaluation reserve is standing at 58, and 21 is the retained profit. So answer C is the correct answer. So C is the right one here, right? So guys, these kind of questions are very, very important. Even though they might appear simple on the face of it, these really involve conceptual clarity, right, for every topic. So whatever is the syllabus given to us, please make sure that you are understanding the concepts behind the topics, right? So for further guidance, this is the expert faculty that iExamB is having. So you can definitely avail the expertise that they have, right? So, and apart from this, this is the faculty for legal, IT, and research, respectively. iExamB will help you definitely for preparation of the job. So please don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you very much.